The Late Night Alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
Everybody in the house next door, everybody on the ocean floor, everybody in the grocery store sing, oh, 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 oh. Everybody says the bacon bread, everybody feel the creeping dread, everybody going back to bed like me, I'm here to stay. Everybody taking online courses, everybody with the tiny horses, everybody do the unseen forces, oh, 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 oh. Everybody with the broken dreams, everybody on the big sport teams, everybody with the fake news memes in everybody on the Brooklyn Bridge, everybody with the privilege sing, oh, 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 oh. Everybody with a lonely heart, everybody sharing graphs and charts, everybody singing wherefore art thou, oh, 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 me out. I can take the easy route and say this is the way we've always been. Everybody who just lost their gig, everybody who is starting big, everybody gonna flip their wig like me. I'm going crazy. Everybody with the cable cut, everybody in the Pizza Hut, everybody is together but in isolation.
What are you beefing on about? Are you real? I like the mushy peas. Oh, God.
Everybody with a nice clean toe.
Flipping, eh?
Everybody with the filthy phone.
Am I talking to myself here?
Everybody staying home alone like me. I'm here to say
I've done a little garden.
everybody's gonna make some stuff.
Who the hell is Ginger
Everybody's
Baker?
gonna say enough.
It doesn't matter.
Everybody's gonna call their bluff in isolation.
Can you hear me, good dancing? Just shut your hell. Flipping, eh? Am I talking to myself here? What's the matter with it? Are you real? Please don't go. Oh, are you on both?
We now have... Oh, no, go away. Don't want that. We now have two bona fide... Got to wait a while for that reverb to start. I didn't know it was on. Sorry. We now have... I just like to play with the reverb while I'm sat here. So I sit
could
here
you leave it alone? You'll drop it off.
I know, but I just like sitting here before the show. I'm sitting here reading my Bruce Lee book. Here's a fun fact, guys. Bruce Lee had a friend whose first name was Ben. His last name was Der. D-E-R. Bruce Lee had a friend. Fun fact. Bruce Lee had a friend called Mr. Der. Ben Der. I mean, I know it's childish. It's probably homophobic. But it's also very, very funny. I read this last night. And I can't stop thinking about Bruce Lee's friend, Ben Der. We now have, as a direct result of coronavirus, COVID-19, 5G, 5G, you muppets. People have actually burnt down 5G masts. That's how thick people are. Boy, did Eamon dodge a bullet. Anyway, we now have, as a direct result of the coronavirus, two bona fide pop classics. We're all in this together. by Imani, and we have Isolation by Stephen Page there. Now, admittedly, the drops of Dave talking over the top, that was mine. I do think that's what's missing from Stephen's version. And I know he's had a number 1 in the Billboard charts, but I think my version is better, and so I'm going to send it to him, and if he doesn't adopt it, well, he can shove it up his arse!
Whoa.
Sorry, I've just gone a bit stir-crazy. My name's Iain Lee. Welcome to the Late Night Alternative. Who the hell are you, lady?
Well, you're not being completely truthful there, are you? Your name is not just Iain Lee.
Iain
you are...
Felix Diamond Lee. That's my name. That's my name. My kids came up with the name Iain Felix Diamond Lee, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm thrilled. What are your middle names, Catherine? Like, Susan Wallocks or something boring. Like Susan Wallocks is actually quite a good name.
S. Wallocks.
Swallocks.
Wow. No, my middle name is Elizabeth.
You've only got the one, have you?
Yeah, because I'm lucky to have one at all, because my mother didn't have a middle name. It's not from our family background.
Honestly, it's the most fun, right? I haven't changed mine by default yet, because you have to have 2 witnesses now, and obviously with lockdown we can't really have witnesses. But I looked at it today, but it's definitely going to happen. Get the girls to give you 2 middle names.
No, because my children are insane, and I'm quite happy as I am. But well done for you and Felix Diamond. Can I just
say, by the way, guys, that I in no way wish to thank the management of Talk Radio, but this will be the first show we have done since lockdown where there's hardly any delay between us, Catherine, because me, you and Sam, just by having a conversation... realised there was a better way of doing the radio show than we've been doing it for the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, who knew? Apparently everyone.
Absolute winkers. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. Flipping hell.
Sabotage, that's what it is.
Welcome to the show. It is, I'll tell you, who even knows what day it is? Let me have a look. I've got it written down somewhere. Hang on. It's Monday. Like that means anything anymore. Friday's show was a real doozy. Straight to air. I've never had, in 15, 16 years, 17 years of doing straight to air, Catherine, I've never had a show that was as bleak as that. Pretty much all the way through. That was a dark show. And I'm not in any way complaining. That just, to me, tells me the mood of the nation.
Yeah, I mean, normally it's just me and you kind of on the end of the phone. I think the devil might have been involved somewhere on Friday. It was certainly very dark at times. Very dark indeed.
Anyway, we enjoyed it. So we decided that for the next few weeks, probably for the duration of lockdown, which is going to be, well, at least 3 weeks, I suspect another 6 possibly, I don't know, but maybe even longer. But for the duration of lockdown, we're going to make Fridays straight to air. 10 till 1, Fridays for the duration of lockdown, and maybe beyond, we'll see. We're going to make that straight to air because I think it is a canary in a coal mine, and I think once we have no scientific evidence to back this up, just experience, guys, experience. Once we start getting more positive, fun straight to air shows, I think that means that we're on an upward curve as a nation.
We should draw a graph, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. We should draw a graph. A graph. Let's go draw a graph. Grandad, can I play on the coal bunker and then draw a graph?
Felix Diamond.
That's my name. You can, and here's the thing: it's platinum coated, so you can say it as many times as you want, and it will not wear out. You are unable to wear it out.
Oh dear. Well, it's very nice. I'm glad you've had a little a shine up
I had 2 tweets from Miranda Sawyer regarding it. So, yeah, the big wigs.
Yeah. She thinks that you're being a worse and you should just change your name completely and be done with
it. The people that we have been trying to impress for not the losers that listen to this rubbish, the intellectuals, the cool kids in the upper sixth that we have been trying to impress from down here in the fourth form are they're finally starting to take notice of all of the mediocre work that we're doing, Catherine. And all
we had to do was dance harder.
Don't forget, Bruce Lee had a friend called Ben Durr. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You know the rules, anything goes. I've looked online for stories, and there aren't many. I've got a couple. There's one about sex toys and stuff. There aren't many fun... I don't know if you had a similar... problem, Catherine. There aren't many fun stories out there, are there?
I found one about Stonehenge. I found one about sandwiches, and I found out about a man who locked himself in a restaurant and cleaned them out. But apart from that, not an awful lot of fun being had out there.
Okay, okie dokie. I have got one about sex toys. I have got one about headphones. It's not even that good a story, actually. Oh. I've got one about bungling council workmen.
Beautiful.
And people who are having affairs whilst on lockdown. So there could be some tips in there. Could be some
just a tip, though.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. This is the late night alternative, sans delay, avec le giggle on Talk Radio.
The late night alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
I like that voiceover guy, Kath. He got gravitas.
Who is that voiceover guy?
I don't know. Who is that voiceover guy, Sammy Sams?
That's Chris, Dan's assistant producer.
Dan's assistant producer. Okay, a couple of questions. Who's Dan? Oh, Dan Wooten.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's got some sad news for country music fans. Dolly Parton's been diagnosed with the coronavirus, and it looks fabulous on her. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. First call of the night. First cab off the rank. Yay, it's the first night bus home. It's Iain.
Hello?
Yes?
Oh, yeah. I phoned you the other night regarding the China virus, and you cut me off. And
you're the horrible thick old racist. Yes, Iain, it's so wonderful to have you back. What nonsense bilge would you like to spit out of your mouth hole tonight?
No, I'm not a racist.
You can't call it the Chinese Iain, my show, my rules. My show, well, you can, but you can't call it on this show. I won't allow it on this show. If you do it on this show, I'll cut you off. It's that simple. So you can do it in your personal life. You can do it with your horrible thick friends. But I will not allow you to do it on my show. The virus has a name. It's the coronavirus. And the disease has a name, COVID-19. I accept your apology, Iain. I accept your apology.
Ian Collins.
This is Iain. This is not the Ian Collins show. This is the Iain and Catherine show. I decide what you can and can't say. I will not... Turn his fader down. Turn his fader down. Dear God. Iain, I will come back to you in a second, but I think everybody needs to just calm down. Catherine, first cab off the rank, and he's a twallock.
So first cab on the rank is the one that we put the mockers on Friday, and yet he wants to come back for more.
Dear. Yes,
this is not going to work, by the way. You can't come back and insist. That's not the way it works.
You can call it the China virus if you want, but not on my show. Do it with your thick, dumb friends. Do it with the people who are easily led by the giant potato in America, Donald Trump. You can do that. You can't do it on my show, mate.
Ask yourself why it's so important that you call it something different to almost everybody else.
Okay. Should we bring him back into the conversation?
Ask him that.
Iain.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, hello. Gosh, you're not bright, are you? Yes, Iain.
Well, I think I'm quite bright, but there you go.
Mate, let me tell you, you ain't. But carry on. What dumb point would you like to make tonight, Ian? He's gone. Well, that's how bright he is. He couldn't even sustain a phone call. He's gone. Oh, man. So
the things people dig their heels in about now, when people are dying, now, that's the thing he wants to dig his heels in about.
So when these bands, I saw hardly any of the One World, One Vision, True Love, Big Up Respect concert. What I did see, Paul McCartney filmed in portrait. Mm-hmm. So I didn't watch it. I love Paul McCartney. I couldn't watch it. It's filmed in portrait.
I didn't see any of it, but I did get a text message from my dad that said, watching this stay-at-home concert, shite.
Okay. I did see Elton John.
And how was it?
Ooh, dear. It was strained. But the bit I really saw the Elton John bit was awful. The bit I really saw was the Rolling Stones, who sounded all right. I'm not a great Stones fan, but they played "You Can't Always Get What You Want," which I quite like. I think it's a nice song. But they were miming, right? Or it was recorded separately because Charlie Watts didn't have any drums. But he was playing the drum. He was sat on a box doing the air drums. Oh. But you could hear the drums. Have I got this right, dear listener? You could hear the drums, but he was doing air drums. Could you hear? Maybe you. I've confused myself now. Maybe you couldn't hear the drums. 0344 499 1000. I just think when it's bands doing it separately, I don't think those bits are live. I don't think that the trouble we've had having a conversation live, right, with the delay. And if we then bring in a Skype call, we're screwed. The instruction we give to any guests we've had on Skype is, look, if you start talking and you hear one of us talk, just power on. Everyone just power on, someone will give way. And it sort of worked most of the time. But so imagine playing a song like that, Catherine. It wouldn't be possible.
No.
Okay, great feedback.
I think, it's great to try and put on a show for everybody, but it has to be slightly better than what we could do ourselves with a mirror. Just a bit. And I know America did it because the Backstreet Boys did a really good version of I Want It That Way, and I found it quite moving. But there were bits in that were clearly miming. Don't be quite so obvious about it is what I would suggest.
I've told Stephen Page what I did to his song, and he's replied,
I saw.
You know how much I love Luton. Wowzers. 0344 499 1000. Just quickly going back to that first call, if you're a new listener and you may think that was a bit harsh, that was kind of a carry-on from a call last week. We're trying to entertain you while all this is going on, and it's not always easy, because me and Kath are human beings going through this as well. I had a terrible weekend. Really, really lousy weekend. I'll tell you about that a bit later on. That'll be fun. Huh? That'll be fun, won't it? That'll be fun. My God, it was dark. But we're trying to have a laugh, okay? And we're trying to avoid the dreaded lurgy. If you want to call in about the dreaded lurgy, you're very, very welcome to. But, we're trying to avoid it. If you want to, then do it. It's the big thing. But what we won't allow is thick, we won't allow lies, we won't allow nonsense. I want your stories and we want facts, but we won't allow lies, and we won't also allow for the lazy generalization of calling it the Chinese flu and all of that. Now, listen, one or two of the world's leaders, I believe the leader of France, Hercule Poirot, and the leader of Germany, I don't remember her name, they have both said that maybe China's not quite the China virus is racist, but the Spanish flu is history. The coconut cabbie, is that you again? Are you the guy that we've spoken? Dude, we've spoken to you before. You are so thick. Call in 0344 499 1000. Right. Listen to this. We've had this guy on before. Remember him? Yeah. The China virus is racist, but Spanish flu is history. Do you know why it's called the Spanish flu? You thick cabbie. Do you know why? He then goes on to say, and report this tweet, guys, it's homophobic. Ricky Gervais was the only positive off the 11 o'clock show. This weird, unfunny, gayish dude on talk radio ruins all the good work Mike Graham does at 10 a.m. Mike Graham's a great presenter, the Coconut Cabbie. But this is the second time you've messed with me. And do you remember the first... You're probably texting this while he's driving again, which is illegal. Do you remember the first time? You ran away scared like a little baby. You ran away. Not like a baby, because babies don't run. You ran away scared like a baby sheep, a lamb. That's it. You ran away scared like a little lamb because I reported you to the police for breaking the law. Cabbie, phone up or get stuffed. You're too thick to deal with me. You're too thick to deal with me. Let's go to Joe. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Ian. Good evening, Kath.
Hey, Joe.
What have you got for us, Joe? What have you got for us?
Right. I'm phoning up to say welcome, brother, because my second name is Diamond.
Yes, man! This is it! Extended families. Has it... Now, were you born with that name?
I was, and I was on your first Zoom lunch.
Oh, okie dokie. What did you do?
And you spotted my name, and you said, that's a cool name.
Oh, there you go. There you go. This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Just to say you'll be receiving the confirmation pack in the post for the Diamond name.
The diamonds, we all get treated with love and indeed respect. I cannot wait. What's it like being a diamond? This is only like my third or fourth day of it, and I'm loving it.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Ian.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're part of the South East London Diamonds now. You know that.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Being from
Thank you.
Ruskin Street, wasn't it?
John Ruskin Street is where my family came from. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I was from Browning Street.
Oh, there you go. You see, it all
round the
links up,
corner.
Joe. But when this coronavirus is over, I will be coming round and I will be eating your food.
You'll have to come a long way. I'm in the Republic of Ireland.
Sorry, have I what?
I'm in Southern Ireland.
I'll come over there, mate. I'll come over. I'm going to travel the world. Joe, thank you. 0344 499 1000. Oh, unfortunately, the cabbie's deleted his tweet, Catherine.
Oh, he did that last time, didn't he? I wonder what it is about him that means that he is so trigger happy and then immediately regrets it. Is it a lack of control? Temper?
Put
Booze?
down the bottle.
Oh, last time he was
wine.
driving, wasn't he?
Yeah. Put down the bottle of wine, my friend. Put down the bottle of cheap beer. You think you're a tough guy, really a shy guy. You'll never beat me, my dear. Coconut Cabbie is as thick as they come.
Seeing as he brought up history, should we talk about this Spanish flu thing? The
No.
reason it was...
Don't, because listen, you know why it was called the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
I know why it was called the Spanish flu. If he calls up, we'll explain it to him. But whatever we say to him, it will not go in his head because he can never be wrong. Intelligent people know why it's called that and why it's different from calling this the Chinese flu. We know why.
Yeah.
He's not up to our standard.
I bet he doesn't listen to Julio Iglesias or anything. Still furious about it.
I bet he doesn't listen to All Night Long, All Night. Ooh, all night long, all night. Oh, all night long, all night. Yeah, all night long, all night. That's a great song, isn't it?
Why?
What do you mean?
Well, why wouldn't he listen to that?
Because he doesn't know good music when it comes and smacks him in the face. That's a great song.
Okay. Yeah,
Are you telling me All Night Long by Lionel Richie is not a great song?
Yeah, but I didn't understand what the connection would be between that and Spain.
Oh, no, there's no connection between.
What I was driving at. You took it and ran.
Well, I know you were, but
you
you started with Julio Iglesias.
Yeah.
And then it just reminded me of just good music in general.
Yeah, bet he thinks it's all gayish. Don't want that. Gayish.
Gay. By the way, gayish is an excellent description of bisexuality. That is gay. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Ian Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. Let's just duck and just run. Let's go to Alan. Good evening, Alan.
Evening, boss. Evening, Kath.
Hiya.
I didn't know your middle name was Felix Diamond.
Sorry?
I just heard a new jingle. Late Night Alternative with Ian Felix Diamond Lee.
Well, if you listen to the radio show, as we know you don't, you'd have found that out last week. But never mind. What can we do for you?
I found out on Wikipedia.
It is on Wikipedia now, I believe.
Have they been updating your page?
Yeah, well, yes.
And also, I've got an interesting question.
I bet it isn't.
I wonder what happened to Lee MacDonald from Grange Hill.
He worked in he was a key cutter for a while, wasn't he? And then he came back and did some acting work.
I think he listens to this show, so maybe he'll phone us up.
Yeah, he's probably in lockdown, mate.
Did he get the key to lock the door for lockdown?
No, I don't think you don't need to lock the door for lockdown. You just push the door shut.
But I thought Boris said when we were in lockdown 4 weeks ago, we had to lock all the doors.
If you love Boris Johnson so much, why don't you go marry him? I can't wait. I can't wait for Boris Johnson to be tried for manslaughter. I can't wait for Cummings and Johnson to be tried for manslaughter. Bring that on. Bring it on.
What about Dominic Webb as an accomplice?
No, I'm talking about those two. I'm being deadly serious. Bring it on. When this is done, let's get them arrested. Let's charge them with manslaughter, because the way they've handled this is absolutely awful.
And give them a life sentence.
No, put them through the courts properly, and whatever the court decides.
No, I mean, how long do you reckon they'll get for manslaughter?
Alan, I'm not doing a piece. I'm being serious. I want them arrested. I want them arrested. I don't know what the sentence is for manslaughter, but I want them arrested and I want them charged, because it is becoming clearer by the moment that they were ill-equipped for this and have been dishonest about this.
Yeah, and the problem was, I think the problem was back in December when we voted Boris in at the general election.
Okay. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. I just realised what I was doing there, Catherine, and
no point.
it was pointless. I'm being told that the drummer from the Rolling Stones may have been using a virtual drum kit, i.e., those sticks that you get for Christmas presents, where when you hit different things, they make different noises.
Oh, like Invisi-snare.
Invisi-snare. He may have been playing the Invisi-snare. and the Y-hat. Let's go.
I can play that. I'm really good at it.
Let's go to Anthony. Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Ian and Kath. How are you both?
I'm stopping this question. I really am stopping this question. Stop, everyone. And I did this last time with you, Anthony. Everyone stop asking that question. I'll tell you how I am. Put his fader down. I'll tell you how I am, dear listener. I'm shit. I'm really shit. I really struggled. I was going mad last week, right? And this weekend, I've not really told you about this, Kath, but this weekend, I really struggled with staying sober and clean. I didn't have anything in the house, but I really struggled with staying sober and clean and just thinking, I just got into a mindset of thinking, well, you know what? Some booze and some drugs would actually make this thing okay. That's insane, junky thinking. And Saturday I was just miserable, and luckily when I'm miserable I'm really good at making myself sleep a lot. I can make myself sleep, so I slept a lot. And then Sunday I just felt so sad that that's where my head, as soon as my boys went home with their mum, that's where my head went, thinking, drugs and alcohol, that would be great. So on Sunday I got busy, I cooked some food, I cleaned the house a little bit, and today, man, I'm in there. Today I'm back in there, and I'm working a program, and I've done 2. I woke up at 9:15, and I thought, I've got another crap day in lockdown. I looked at my phone and I saw that there was an AA meeting in 15 minutes. Boom, I'm up, fed the cats, made a pot of coffee, and I went into that meeting, and I sat in that meeting, and I told them exactly how I was been feeling at the weekend. I did it on Sunday as well, and I spoke to my sponsor, and then there was another meeting this afternoon. Boom, 2 meetings. I've booked a session with my therapist tomorrow. I had a really nice session chat with my sponsor yesterday, because I was reminded how wafer thin my sobriety is. It's Rizzler, it's blue Rizzler paper thin. And if I am left on my own, which is what I have to do because we are in lockdown, I go nuts, and behaviour that is dangerous and is lethal to me becomes really attractive and really, really sexy. So while I didn't have a drink, while I didn't have a drug on Saturday, I was kind of white-knuckling it, which is dumb. And I should have told you about it, Kath, and I didn't, because I was insane. You knew there was something going on. And I didn't say anything because I was so full of shame and guilt. But then Sunday, boom, right, I got to do stuff. Today, boom, I'm up, and I've been in meetings, and I've shared in meetings. And I spoke to my sponsor and I said, man, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm thinking. And he talked me off the ledge. And I spoke to my therapist and he talked me off the ledge. And boom, 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 boom. I'm going absolutely nuts. That's how I'm doing, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. I do apologise. I forgot.
Okay, thank you. Kath, you were going to say something.
No, I just know certain things with you. You went very, very quiet, and you say certain things that you say to me. When you start saying to me that you don't see the point, then that's kind of when you end up in limbo land, and anything might go. And so I knew there was something up, and I'm very glad that you kept with the programme and remembered that your sobriety is really bloody important.
It was awful, Kath. It was awful, and I couldn't tell you about it because I felt so ashamed that I was having... And thank you, Coconut Cabby. I appreciate that, and you're a bellend as well. But thank you. He's just sent a nice text. But I just felt so ashamed that that's where my head was gone, and I just kept thinking, oh, I'll go in a bit, and it didn't. And I was white knuckling. And if I had... No, well, I was going to say if I had a way of getting drugs, I would have got some. And actually, that's not true because I probably could have found ways. But
if you'd been able to get out, you would have.
Yeah. And it was that's where I'm going. I've been insane, and looking back, I was going more and more insane as the week went on last week. Mm-hmm. And so today I've come at it with renewed energy. I'm going to do a meeting every single day, at least one meeting. I did 2 today. I found this brilliant, my sponsor recommended this brilliant meditation app, dear listener, Insight Timer. It's brilliant, right? And it's all these different meditations, and I've dipped in there and I've done 2. One was great. The one today was not so good. It ended up with this guy going, sleep, go to sleep. And he kept saying...
Sounds like what my mum used to say to me. I didn't realise that was meditation.
He was like a Cockney geezer, right? Trying to sound posh. And it's just dawned on me that when you get a word and you put the letter Y at the end of it, it sounds really childish, because he kept going, you're feeling sleepy. You're getting sleepy. And every time he said sleepy, I thought, oh, that's like such a babyish word. Give me any word, Catherine, and end it with a Y, and it sounds like a baby word.
Yeah, you're right.
They all sound like baby words. Sleepy. You're feeling sleep. You're naughty. You're very, very naughty. You're sexy. You're sexy. You're naughty, sleepy, and sexy. Anyway, Anthony, phone up with your words that end in Y. 0344 499 1000. Yes, Anthony.
Ian, obviously I split my girlfriend on January the 1st, obviously, and I still find it hard to cope sometimes because so many emotions and because the memories going back in the past.
Yes.
And I still struggle to think about her and not being here and that. And what can I do? Can I talk
to your friends?
Talk
to your friend. You need to talk to your friends about it, because we have spoken about it, and I'm grateful that you feel you can phone me up and share this with me.
Sorry.
No, I don't know what you're apologising for. I just said I'm grateful that you phone up and you feel you can do that, but you need to talk to your friends. You need to share this with people that you know. Who will be able to offer you very specific suggestions, or not even offer suggestions. A friend can sit on the end of a phone for an hour while you cry and say how crap everything is. I can't do that because I got Lee coming up, and then we've got callers. I can't really do that, but a friend can do that. You know, I just feel like I keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It will get better with time.
Yeah, that's cool. Guess what's coming tomorrow?
More misery and death rates. I don't know what's coming tomorrow.
No, a pussycat's coming tomorrow.
Here we go, Anthony. Boy or a girl?
A girl, and her name will be what?
Her name will be what?
Have a guess what her name was going to be.
Steve? I don't know.
Your other producer.
Agent Chris.
We're going to call it Kathy.
Yeah, like Kathy, my producer, who I used to work with before I met Catherine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, your life, thank you, 0344 499 1000 is about to get a whole lot better. And let's be honest, stinkier. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Oh my God, what is the point in carrying on? Let's go to Jane. Good evening, Jane.
Hello, how are you?
Jane, what have you got for us?
I've just been to an online meeting this evening.
How'd it go?
Really well, yeah. I do a couple a week now. It's a bit sad on the television, on the news earlier tonight, because on the actual news they were interviewing people who were having trouble with mental health, etc., etc. And they talked to this chap who's an alcoholic, and he goes to meetings, etc. But he was saying, "Oh, it's awful. We haven't got any meetings, and I'm missing my meetings, and I'm, living with my head and all this sort of thing." And nobody put him right on there to say, well, there are online meetings or what have you. And of course, a lot of people out there are suffering. It's really sad. They don't always understand that there's a helpline and all the rest of it. I mean, we're the lucky ones if we've got a 12-step program because, hopefully we're practicing acceptance and tolerance and everything's the way it's meant to be. And even if we have crap days, we do know that nothing ever lasts, does it?
Yeah, I often think that people who are working a 12-step program have a slight advantage, sometimes a significant advantage over people that don't work a program when things are normal. And I do think it's definitely helpful during this. I'm going to be completely honest with you, Jane. This is a program of honesty. I don't like the online meetings. No. I'm grateful that they're there, and I'm going to cling on to them. But I don't like them. I can't explain it any better than, for me, the magic isn't there. It's more of a technical experience, whereas going, making the effort of getting in my car and driving for half an hour to a meeting and then sitting in a room full of people, there is a tangible magic that permeates the room. It's a physical presence. Thank you. And I'm just not finding that in the Zoom meetings. But I'm grateful that they're there, and I'm going to go to them. But it's not the same for me.
Because if they weren't there, imagine where your head would be, etc., etc., And I'm in touch every day with my sponsor, and we have a joke and different things going on. If things crop up, she always says to me, "What's that word beginning with A?" And I say, "I know, it's not arseholes, it's acceptance." Yeah. And we have a bit of a laugh, and it's absolutely true, because everything is the way it's meant to be. And, as we know in the Serenity Prayer, change the things you can and understand you can't change everything, and not everything is your business, I've learned an awful lot since I've been working this program properly for the last 4 years. Because I messed about for a few years thinking I knew it all, and I didn't really understand about the steps. And I did start the steps, and I got past 5, and I thought, oh, I know what's what. But, when I went back and did the steps properly with my sponsor I've got now, it was such a shock to me when I got to 6 and 7 to realise that I had to change. And with that change then came an understanding of what the program's about, and things got easier. And I'm just so grateful that I, worked really hard with her and got where I am today, because I wouldn't be coping very well. I mean, I'm 73 and I got run over a couple of weeks ago by a reversing, I'll call him a dickhead, but anyway. I'm sorry, but...
What happened?
It's not very ladylike talk. Well, I was out on my half-hour little exercise we're allowed, and I live at Russell, and we just walked through past a car park outside some shops, and we just walked along a little grass verge, and she stopped her a sniff in the hedge. And this fella came out of the car park, and instead of reversing and then pulling forward into the road, he just kept coming backwards, and he hit me and knocked me into a ditch. And obviously my higher power was with me, because he ran over the ditch, but he didn't actually break any bones. I just had very bad bruising, and the Jack Russell was safe, but they pulled me out and I had to go to hospital and everything. But I'm still suffering with a lot of swelling and bruises. But they said, tough old bird, they said to me in hospital. And they checked out I didn't have the virus or anything and sent me home.
This is why I don't do the exercise. I had a house party. This is another thing I did today to be positive. I did a little house party chat with a couple of friends for an hour, and they said, "Are you doing any exercise?" I went, "Of course not." And now, Jane, I can cite you as the perfect reason why I should not leave this house.
But you see, my higher power is with me, because this fellow, I mean, he could have killed us, but he made me go into a ditch and then ran me over in the ditch. So, you know, luckily it wasn't filled, it was just filled with mud, but luckily it wasn't sort of 2 feet of water or anything. Yes. But I came out of there, and all I could think about, people were saying, aren't you cross, aren't you this, aren't you that? I said, you know, I am so full of gratitude that it happened where it did, and that we were both safe. And I said, I've got to look on the good side of things. I can't keep moaning and complaining. I'm just happy that he was looking after me. And I feel that all the time, actually, if ever I've got into scrapes in the past, you know. I know there's always been something looking after me there, because I could have been dead quite a few times. Yeah,
thanks for sharing,
I'm very
Jane.
grateful.
I really
it's lovely to hear you, and it's so nice to know that you're on here and that you've been through all this business like we have.
Yeah.
You know, before people come to AA meetings, they always tend to think it's going to be full of old men in dirty raincoats with string around their middles. And they get in there and they see sort of middle-aged, elderly ladies as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They see, I've got 4 friends who are GPs that go. There's a vicar, quite a few, there's an airline pilot, would you believe? And, you know, all kinds from all walks of life. And people get in there and they see well-dressed people smiling, and they can't believe it. And we say, well, if you came in here and we were a filthy bunch all complaining, you wouldn't think much of recovery. But when you see how we've tackled it, you know, what happened to us, how we dealt with it, and how we are today, it does encourage people to come back, you know. So, and as you know yourself, a lot of people get frightened off by the God word, but you've just got to believe it, that you're not God. There's something out there bigger than you. And if you can comprehend that and accept that at one time your God was the bottle, what was in that bottle, you know there's something bigger than us. And, you know, I'll just add this very quickly, it was a real big shock to me when I learned from my sponsor. She said to me, alcohol is not your problem, it's your thinking. And so I took that on board, because it is. It would have been anything with me. I was on prescription drugs for a long time. I was on amphetamines for about 20 years on prescription. Because in the 70s, they used to give us those as
diet pills. My mum was on those. Me and my sister looked back in the 70s and 80s and wondered how mum did so much housework. She was on speed from the doctor.
Me, yeah, and we were mowing the lawn 10 o'clock at night, going all day without eating.
Yeah.
What a shock when they took us off those and stopped prescribing them.
Yeah.
Then, in all innocence, you don't realise, you start looking for other things. But you see, I didn't drink from a young age, and I didn't go drinking, you know, in my middle years. But what actually did for me was my illness was triggered off by a series of really bad bereavements. My mum died of motor neurone disease, then I lost my brother suddenly. But they weren't the reason I drank. They were incidents that triggered off the illness I had. And that's the thing, 'cause people used to say, oh, well, anybody would drink in those circumstances. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. And the thing is, a lot of people have a drink to feel better, but they can put the drink down if they're not an alcoholic. An alcoholic can't put the drink down. Once you've had that first one, it triggers the next and the next and the next. And once I understood about the first drink, about the acceptance, about understanding about the higher power, and that it was all down to my head, how I dealt with life, things have been so much easier. And as I say, even getting floored by this knobhead in this car, and obviously it was what do you call it, automatic, because he just kept on revving up and reversing. So anyway, we're leaving all that to the police and the what have you, and the insurance people now. So yeah, so there we go. Anyway,
what a lovely
nice
call,
to talk
Jane.
to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your call. You've really inspired me. And stay safe.
You, and keep at it, and keep that gratitude going.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks very much. What a lovely call, Catherine. Perfect.
She was great.
She was great. The language was outrageous.
Oh, I like that especially.
What a lovely call. That's really inspiring. Thank you. Let's go to Lee. Good evening, Lee.
Hi.
Hi. Sounds like someone's being tortured.
I've forgotten what I wanted to talk about, actually.
From one extreme to the other. Yeah. Wowzers. Before and after, or after and before? Lee, what's going on in the background? Are you watching a porno, or is someone being murdered?
No, I think my wife is watching, it might be Outlander. Have you seen Outlander?
No. Is that made by the same people that made Zoolander and Highlander?
No, Zoolander obviously was a gay parody, I think it's called.
A gay parody?
A gay parody, wow. Okay.
What was Highlander using your vernacular? A Scottish parody?
It was also gay, I think.
What can we do for you tonight, Lee? Apart from make you a strong coffee.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it? That sounds like a porno.
Pardon?
What can we do for you, Lee? Sorry, it's a bit difficult for you to hear us because your wife's porno's too loud. But we'll speak as loud as we can. What can we do for you, Lee?
Not much. Just chatting is cool.
Okay, what would you like to chat about?
I don't know. I'm finding this hard.
The phone call?
No, the lock-in thing.
The lock-in. I think you'd love a lock-in, but the lockdown. Why? I think a lot of people are finding it very hard, Lee. You're not alone. That music. Is it because your wife has the TV too loud? Hello?
She's deaf, so...
Huh?
She's deaf. Yeah, funny.
Thank you.
No, she's deaf.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that you're struggling so much. It must be difficult. Well, I know it's difficult. It's difficult for everyone, man. I'm sorry you're struggling, and I hope things get easier, Lee. Thank you. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Is there any joke finer, Catherine, than someone makes a reference about being deaf and you go, huh?
I know that's one of your favourites.
Oh, my boys love it. And my youngest has got to the stage now where I'll go, pardon? And he'll start to repeat himself, and then he'll go, oh, I know what you just did. It's my favourite joke. Because you can't really do Chinese dentist time anymore.
No, apparently it's frowned upon.
Yeah, very much so.
But not by some of our listeners, it would appear.
Listen, I am, at the moment, I'm more than happy to buy the wet market theory, right? I'm happy to buy the theory of the wet market.
Right.
I'm happy to buy that theory. The 5G thing is out the window. That's gone. Right? That's gone. But I would like there to be a full and proper investigation, because I still can't quite get my head around how someone doing it with a bat does this. And does this sound... I don't want to sound conspiracy theory, but sometimes I think of things. I think, oh God, am I nuts? Am I am I an Alex Jones listener? But I can't get out of my head the fact that there is a there is a virus lab in Wuhan. I can't get that out of my head, and I cannot. I don't think there's any evidence to back this up. So I cannot dismiss that this is a laboratory, that this thing came from a laboratory. I can't dismiss that. And
I know what you mean. I find it very unusual that I find it. I don't really understand why the Chinese government would try to shut down as many doctors as it did when they were trying to blow the whistle, unless someone is to blame.
Yeah.
That they're protecting. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. If it's just an unhappy biological accident, in a market, that's one thing. But it feels like there's power behind it.
And I don't want to be one of those, well, you know, the 5G thing, because 5G is nonsense, right? 5G is nonsense.
Yeah, and also it leads to idiots downing, masts that serve the emergency services. So let's not play that game.
But I can't get out of my head that this could have come from a laboratory. I have no evidence to back that up. And maybe if you're listening to this and you know that what I'm saying is nonsense, please phone me up and tell me why it's nonsense. I would love a really convincing argument as to why me thinking, well, maybe it was a laboratory thing. I would love a convincing argument as to why that is nonsense, please. And I'm not doing that to create a radio argument. I genuinely think I'm sounding like a paranoid conspiracy freak. But also, I mean, we've had Angela Merkel and the French dude, Macron. Is Macron the French dude, or is he the Canadian dude?
Emmanuel Macron.
They have both said that China's not quite telling us everything, or they've certainly hinted at that in the last couple of days.
I don't think that's controversial.
No, I don't think it is, and I think there has been some. I don't know. Something is not quite right, and I can't quite grasp it. A bat in a market, it doesn't. But then I don't know. I don't know biology. I don't know basic scientific facts. So I don't know. You know, are we sounding like the people that? Do you remember AIDS came from either someone doing it with a monkey, or it came from a laboratory in New York? That was a big one, wasn't it? It came from a laboratory in New York. That was a big old thing in the 80s. You may not remember that. You might have been a bit too young for that, but that was certainly doing the rounds. And maybe I sound like the AIDS comes from a laboratory in New York people.
I think that actually it's sensible to admit that we know very little about what's going on at the moment, and questioning things is not. I don't think questioning things is unreasonable.
But then I know we're late for the news. But then saying I agree, but then shutting down the 5G people. They're questioning things, aren't they? They're just questioning things. I'm playing devil's advocate ever so slightly.
They are, but there is a scientific response to it, and they will not hear it. Okay. That's the difference.
Right. Yeah. Funny old world, isn't it? Right, let's take a break. 0344 499 1000. Scott, stay there, please. I know you've been waiting exactly 11 minutes. You're going to have to wait a few more if you don't mind. This is the Late Night Alternative. Ian and Kath, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Crossing you in style someday. You dream maker, you heartbreaker. Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend. Moon, river, and me. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rain. riding round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River and me. It's you and me.
That's some album, man. American Standard, James Taylor. It's just... And doesn't Moon River by James Taylor sound exactly how you'd imagine Moon River by James Taylor would sound? My youngest, a week ago, was here and he had a really bad headache. And I gave him a bath and it didn't quite work, and he got into bed with me, and he just couldn't rest, and he just couldn't relax. So we turned the lights off, we lit a candle, I put that album on, and I stroked his forehead. Boom, he was gone. He was out. Isn't that lovely, Catherine?
It's beautiful. I love James Taylor. I love Carly Simon. When I was about 19, maybe 18, my mum and dad took, it's like the last holiday we went on together as a family. We went to New England. And we drove all around. Dad was doing it for a travel piece for the newspaper he was working for. So we were staying at all these old whaling cottages and stuff, out of the way, you know, no hotels or anything like that. It's totally, you know, the place looked like that song sounded. It was just like long nights where you heard the crickets and there were rivers, and it was just beautiful. And we went to Martha's Vineyard, which is a place where they hang out an awful lot. And I think the Taylor kids have got a bar or something called Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Yeah, they're a big presence there, and it was just the coolest place. And it's the sort of place I can imagine being an old woman and like being an old hippie. It was just wonderful.
You have, I've known you for like 8 years, and I thought I knew you pretty well. But it turns out you have a secret skill that I didn't know anything about, and it turns out you're really good at it. BJ's. No, I'm joking. What
did you just say?
I couldn't resist it. I'm really sorry. There was an opening there, and I just had to go for it. No. There was, the pause was just long enough, and I just thought, no, Ian, please. Oh, you said it. You said it. Painting.
Yeah.
Like
I used to paint a long time ago, and I haven't painted for ages because I haven't had the time.
And you said you were going to do it, and I was, I'm all up for everyone in undertaking artistic endeavours. Yeah. But I did with the greatest of respect. I thought they were going to be rubbish, and then you posted one, and we've posted two now. They're incredible.
They're not incredible. They're all right, and
no, they're not all right. They're really good.
They're not as good as they will be when I've had a few practices, but I enjoyed it, and I'd forgotten. See, I used to paint years and years ago when I was a student, and I lived, this is like the height of privilege, but I was a student in Paris where everything was paid for, my course and everything. It was the Erasmus scheme. Do you remember the European Union? That was a really good thing that they did. They allowed kids that I couldn't afford a year out or anything like that, so I got sent, as part of my course, I was doing languages. I got sent over to Paris for a while, and it was not as romantic as it sounds. Well, not for me, it wasn't. Some of the perverts on the metro had a lovely time at my expense, but I couldn't really afford to go out very much or eat very much. So I tried to find something I could do to while away the hours that wouldn't involve a lot of money. So I bought myself some paints, and I used to paint a little bit there, but then I got some money and some time, and the paints went back in the box, and I never thought about it again until quite recently. So yeah.
I know.
So oh yes. So alors, I decided to take the paints from the box, and I'd have a little dabble with the help of YouTube. And the good thing about YouTube now is that it has many very talented artists doing the tutorial.
Let me just turn the lights off.
Them and it turns okay.
I've got all the lights on here. Let me just get in darkness while you do this. Go on.
It's really relaxing. It's really relaxing.
No, en français.
Well, I'm not really speaking French. I'm just doing a French accent. But
yeah,
okay,
if
you want me to speak like this, I'll speak like this. So last week I ordered some paint, and of course it is not essential, so it took some time. in the time it took for the paint to arrive, I've been watching a lot of YouTube and been getting quite inspired. And so when it arrived, I had a lot of painting in me. And I've been doing some paintings and they've been turning out not shit. And I love it. It's just so relaxing and you know, kind of meditative and stuff and all that stuff that people like me are not supposed to be able to do.
Music's nice, isn't it?
It's very nice. I like it.
I can't paint. I can't do anything.
You probably can.
No, I can't. I remember once Mackenzie Crook, who is an incredible artist, and I were going to do some painting, right? It's going to be for like a prop for a show we're going to do in Edinburgh. And we had these big sheets of paper, like massive sheets of paper. And I'm going to okay, we were tripping on LSD. And he did this incredibly ornate, you know, psychedelic mural. And in the middle of this huge sheet of paper, I drew like a really small tree and like a tiny monkey.
Oh.
But it was rubbish. It was rubbish. And then we incorporated that into. We did actually use my picture in the show, in a slideshow, as a song called "Would You Believe It?" And there was a line, tiny little monkey climbing up a tree. But I can't paint or draw to save my life. It's awful.
Well, you think you can't, but there are loads of really clever people that you can copy.
I can't. Well, no, I can't. First of all, I don't copy. I never copy. I lead. But no, I can't. Honestly, I've tried, and I just can't. I just can't do it. The message from my eye to my hand, something happens in the brain, Catherine, that completely screws it up.
I know what it is.
Completely screws it up.
You are looking, but you are not seeing.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Scott. Scott has been waiting for ages. Good evening, Scott.
Hello, Ian. Can you hear me okay?
No, because you're on speakerphone.
So I'm off. 2 seconds, mate. Need to put this plug in and off.
This ain't going to last long, trust me.
Love it.
There you go.
You hear me?
Right. Dump button, please, Sam. Dump button, please, Sam. There's a yellow card. One more of those and you're gone.
Oh, the F-words. Sorry, I heard you saying arseholes and that, and I just assumed I could swear.
Scott, what would you like to say, mate?
Hey, I was actually going to switch your show off, Ian, just before you actually started, because of the song you played. I thought it was a bit annoying.
Okay, thanks for your call, Scott. Thanks a lot. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Let's go to Simon. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening, guys.
Hi, Simon.
I'm surprised you let me on, actually, but it's nice to be able to get on. And before I say what I wanted to phone up for, I just want to offer my apologies for anybody that I hurt or offended or upset. And
this is when you called a transgender woman not a real woman, and there was something more offensive than that, and then you went onto a different Facebook group and lied about it, and then when you got called out, you carried on lying about it, and then you said something offensive and then just disappeared off Facebook or something.
Yep, I basically did the cowardly thing and ran away, and I'm not proud of it, and I was in a very bad place, but there's no excuse for what I said and what I did, and I wasn't man enough to admit that it was me, and as I said, I apologise to anybody I hurt, and
well, you can apologise. Listen, you apologise to me, and I'll accept that. But the other people that were involved, you can't really use my show to apologise to them. If you want to, if it's appropriate, you should seek them out individually, because who knows? They're probably not listening to this show anymore because you kind of did it partly in the name of this show, which is what really annoyed me, and made things really, really bad for us when things were really, really bad. Anyway, you made them significantly worse. So yeah, you can apologise to me and Catherine because we're here, but anyone else, I'm not going to allow you to come on and do a blanket apology to everyone, because that's not what. No, not on my show.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I will try and summon up the courage to seek them out then individually. It's a big thing for me to basically a bit of a scaredy cat, to be honest. But yeah, that's fair enough.
Right, what you got?
Right. So I was ringing because you were saying about you weren't sure about the origins of the virus and the Wuhan thing possibly coming from a laboratory.
I don't know if I want to take this from you, because you've got some pretty far out theories about stuff, I don't know if I want to hear this from you.
I'm not going to come out with a theory. All I'm going to say is that I watched a documentary on the iPlayer night before last, and they've done a documentary on coronavirus, and it is fascinating. And if you've got questions, I'm not saying the BBC is always right, but if you have got questions, then you could do a lot worse than to look at that programme they made, because they actually demonstrate how it jumps from a bat to a human, and the theories behind it and everything else. It's not my theory. I'm just saying that it's all there. If you want to watch it, I found it absolutely amazing. It really is enlightening.
All right. How are you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah. I've not left the house since February. Been on university.
You got in early with that lockdown, man. You're a trendsetter.
Yeah, no, my business didn't. Normally what happens with my trade where I am is you have a terrible January, February, and things start to get back in March, which allows you to, pay the debts you've accrued January, February. But obviously with things the way they are, I could see that wasn't going to happen. So I did fortunately get onto Universal Credit before it all kicked off. But it means that I've not not really. I've been to the shop and that, but I've not done anything. Nothing special, obviously, like everybody else. So I'm just waiting to see what happens. But I feel relatively positive about it all. I do think there's some good to come out of this. And I just think that everybody just needs to chill out and hold on and just let it work itself out,
Hang in there, Simon. Thank you, mate. It's nice to speak to you again. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Let's go to Derek. Good evening, Derek.
Good evening, Ian.
What can we do for you?
Sorry to bore you. I just wanted to thank you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know, it's very weird.
What for?
I'm saying this on the radio. I'll tell you why. Because this coronavirus nonsense has had me reflecting heavily on my life in the last few years.
Mm.
And one of the things I've been doing today was I called you in 2016 and you put me in the podcast, and it's been making me chuckle again and again and again.
Oh. What were you talking about in 2016?
I was a bit inappropriate. It wasn't a prank call.
Uh-oh.
I was talking about video games and stuff, but you can't cut me off. Because I was a wee bit too inappropriate.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt.
So hang on. You in lockdown, you said you have been looking back on your life and really pondering it, but you've got fixated on when you phoned me and Kath up 4 years ago and spoke about video games. I thought it was going to be like some deep spiritual, you misunderstood your relationship with your father or something. But no, it's a phone call you did where you got cut off for being a knob.
I'm looking back on a lot of things. Truth be told, I'm probably missing my mum's dog more than anything. I've been looking at pictures of her, which is a bit weird. But no, do you know what I did? I'll be honest. Oh God, I'm saying this on the radio. But anyway, what I did was I wanted to give people a laugh, and I hate the way I sound, and I embarrassed myself on the radio several times around that period. Not just by joking, but I think I cried on the radio and shit. Oh God, I swore twice. Sorry. I embarrassed myself a couple of times as well. So anyway, what I wanted to do was I wanted to give people a bit of a chuckle. I'm sorry for swearing. I wanted to give people a bit of a laugh.
Yes.
So
Are we talking about the phone call from now or from 4 years ago?
from 4 years ago.
Okay, so you did that 4 years ago. Great. What do you want? What I don't remember it. And
no, I don't remember it at all.
I don't expect God give much.
So what do you want to say tonight?
I just wanted to thank you. That's all.
You're very welcome, Derek. I accept your thanks. Thank you for that. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
Boily?
Yeah. People have got a lot of time to stew on things, haven't they?
They have, though. Let's give Scott a second chance. Yes, Scott, second chance. Scott is back for his second chance. Scott. Oh, Sam, can you put his fader up? Thank you. Yes, second chance, Scott.
Yes, hello.
Right, let's try it again, without any swears. What would you like to say?
I don't want to say anything particularly. I was just phoning up to shoot the breeze with you.
Okay, but you have to initiate that.
Yes, I was just want to talk about I'm an ex-addict and I'm still on buprenorphine. I just wanted to say the way the part people in drugs in Scotland, I think it's a disgrace. I started taking heroin at 16-year-old, so I did, and I was on smoking heroin for 4 or 5 years. And they put me on methadone, and I was part on that for 15 years. And I find that a disgrace. They should be putting people into rehabs instead of just parting people on methadone and keep them in the
yeah, but there is also the certain responsibility that we have as addicts have to help ourselves get clean. It's not entirely up to other people to do it for us.
I understand that. Yes.
And the governments don't know what to do with addicts. They don't know what to do, so they put them on methadone and that's it. You know, there's not enough money spent on rehab, but there's always stuff that we can do ourselves. You know, and it's tough.
No, I've been to a couple of meetings in, but I felt it was the one for me.
Okay, well, that's your decision. That's fine. They were for me. They weren't for me for the first 16 months of me going, and then it clicked, and I managed to give up drugs, but I kept going back because I didn't have any other alternative. I wasn't going to go to rehab. I wasn't, I ruined my career. I nearly lost my flat. I nearly lost my relationship. I stole money from my mum.
Can I ask what your drug of choice was, Ian?
It's irrelevant, really.
Right, that's fair enough.
It's irrelevant. It's whatever brings you to your knees.
No. Yep. So how long have you been clean?
I had 13 years, then I relapsed, and now I've just celebrated 2 years.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. But anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. There is an alternative.
I hold my hands up. I'm probably pretty weak building.
Nothing to do with will. Nothing to do with will at all. There's nothing to do with being weak or willed. Methadone is particularly, and heroin is particularly unpleasant drug to come off of, and it is more nuanced in that you kind of have to, you really do need a team behind you that's going to help you drop the dosage. From what I know, it's not something I did, but I know people that have done it.
When I first got pulled into the method, when I got started on 30 mils, and then within a space of a couple of months, I was up to 90 mils, and that was 2002. And I was on the methadone for 15 years, and I eventually got down to 14 mil, and then they put me on buprenorphine, which is Suboxone. Don't know if you've heard it.
I don't know what those are now.
Right, well, they put us on that, started me on 12 milligram, and it took years to get down to 14 mil on the methadone, and then they switched us over to that, and it's far too high a dose of putting on people. I mean, so it took us another 4 years to work my way.
Well, but could you not say to them this is too? Could you not say to them this is too high a dose? Can I start with something lower?
Well, you don't know that at the time. You don't know it's too high a dose until you've started taking it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we have to accept a bit of responsibility for ourselves, though.
No, I see what you're saying.
It's not, the system is not right, but we do have to accept responsibility for it to a certain extent.
No.
And I don't know, I don't get why people don't get meetings. The magic, the miracles I've seen in meetings I don't get why others don't do it and why it doesn't work for them. I don't get it.
I think the particular meeting I went to in Easter House in Glasgow, and after the meeting, I came out of the meeting, I was talking to some old friends, and they were saying some of the guys were actually running the meeting, were actually selling cocaine. You know what I mean?
I don't believe that for a second. I believe that maybe that was told to you, but I don't believe that was what was happening.
Well, you don't know the people in Easter House in Glasgow.
I know I don't, but I know the people in 12-step meetings. I do not believe for a second that the people that were taking the meeting were selling cocaine. I don't believe it. And if they were, which I don't believe, go to another meeting. There's loads of meetings in Glasgow. If that's the thing that's stopping you going to meetings, that's a bullshit reason.
That's not what stopped me going. It was just a wee something.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
So you think I should give meetings another chance?
It's up to you. I don't care. But all I can tell you is they work for me. And I've seen it work with heroin addicts, and I've seen it work with meth addicts, and I've seen it work with...
You're very abrupt.
Oh, I'm sorry if I'm not telling you what you want to hear.
No, it's not that. No, I've never done it last before, Ian. You know what I mean? You're just being a wee bit harsh. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry if I'm not speaking to you in a soft, it'll be all right, let me put my arm around you. I'm being realistic. You're killing... Dude, Scott! Scott, if you want to kill yourself... Scott, if you want to kill yourself, you go ahead and do it, mate. I don't know you. You want to do it, you go ahead and do it. I'm telling you what worked for me. And I'm also telling you, I don't believe that those people at that meeting were selling cocaine. I don't believe it for a second.
What you're saying is you don't care about other people. As long as you're all right, you don't care about other people.
If that's what you want to hear, Scott, that's great. That's great. The way you're coming across is someone who is unable to accept responsibility for your own actions, and you're blaming other people. And now you're blaming me. Well done.
No, I'm not blaming you.
Yes, you are.
You don't know the life I've lived.
I don't care about the life you've lived.
This isn't the way I wanted the call to go in, but just...
The call is going out how it goes. I'm not bothered. I'm clean. I'm telling you how I did it. You're coming up with nonsense.
I'm pure nervous. Right,
so I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care that you're nervous. No, why should I? You're coming up with... What has your nerves got to do with you not going to an NA meeting and getting clean? Nothing. You're coming up with excuses, Scott.
I'm nervous because I've never phoned a radio station before.
Okay, great. That's irrelevant to what we're talking about. And you're using... Yet suddenly the subject of the phone conversation is your nerves. Isn't that interesting?
Right.
Deflection. Blame.
Right.
Lack of responsibility.
Right. Thank you for the second chance. Right. Have a good night, you and your colleagues.
I'll have a great night, Scott, because I'm not going to go out and score some drugs tonight, mate. And you could have the option as well.
I'm not going to score drugs. I'm still on... I'm on medication.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go to the doctors tomorrow for a script.
Oh, good for you.
No, exactly, but I'm saying you could have it if you stopped blaming other people.
I'm not blaming other people.
You have. You've blamed the system, you've blamed the lies that you were told at an NA meeting, and now you're blaming me for being abrupt. You're blaming other people. You could have a life free from drugs.
You're right.
But you don't want it.
Right. I do want it. I just...
Then put some work in, man.
I know. You're right.
Put some work in, Scott, man. You deserve better than this.
No, I need to go. I'm starting to get upset now, mate.
I'm glad you're getting upset, because that's you feeling, man. That's you feeling. I'm not happy that I've made you cry. I haven't made you cry. You've made yourself cry because you're feeling stuff. Because you know how desperate you are, man. Your life should be better than this.
I know that.
You're a good man. That's no more F-bombs! Sam dumped that. He's a good man. Scott, listen, you deserve better than this, brother. You deserve better than this. I'm being abrupt because there's no point in me pussyfooting around it. I can't, Scott. We've got to go because you've had 3 F-bombs there, Sam. I know you will have got that because you're great. Scott, you've gone because you've had 3 F-bombs, and I can't allow you to come back because those are the rules. But trust me, you are a good man. I love you. I'm being abrupt because I love you, because there's no point in me pussyfooting around this. It just sounds like you're blaming everyone else, and of course there are things, there are factors, and there are factions that have got things wrong. But at some point, we as addicts have to accept responsibility for our actions and for our disease. All right? It's a disease that you have. It's a disease. And you deserve better. That's why I'm being abrupt, because you deserve better. And you can have better. All right? You're a good man. I really appreciate you calling back, Scott, but I've got to let you go because of the F-bombs. But you can call back at another time. I promise. 0344 499 1000. Coming up after the break, it's that silly old sod. What's your name, silly old sod?
Is it Barry?
I meant to bring Sandra's line up. I got the wrong line. But we'll go with Barry. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Hang on. Where is it? Here it is. Oh!
Your spirits are special. We don't want to go there.
Put the fader up, Sam.
We're all stuck at home. Someone throw me a bone, and we will get the special. The last bit don't work.
I'm going to be honest, Barry. Yeah. You're with your, and I'm going to say this with love and respect. The fact that you've not called us for a week or so.
Yes.
I was a little bit worried. I'm so pleased to see your name on the switchboard. I was a little bit worried. I thought you got done for selling hooky coronavirus cures again.
Not again, no.
No? Good.
But I tell you something, though.
Yes, mate.
My anti-corona lemonade, it was flying off the shelves.
Yes, and were you telling people it would cure them?
Yes, of course I was. You know, and I know. It was a little bit of lemon, a little bit of sugar, and some fizzy pop. Stick it in a jar, get Margaret to do a felt tip, label on it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yes.
I felt like Bill Gates, But with...
Turns out, mate, that's against the law, and also, it's dangerous.
It's called a placebo. Do you understand? It makes people feel better, all right?
But it doesn't make people feel better. It rots their teeth and makes them bilious.
And blow off as well, as it turned out. That's why I had to stop doing it.
Exactly. Well done. Yes.
I was just phoning to say that I do have a batch of that if anyone wants it, and it's going... it won't do nothing to you. It won't cure COVID. Plus, I bought some oil at a knockdown price, and if anyone wants to give me some money, I'm waiting for that to go up. And then I will be like saying out of South Fork in Dallas.
It's got to be worth, because oil, they're now paying people to take oil. It's got to be worth getting 4, 5, 6 barrels and putting them in the loft, isn't it?
There's a couple of buckets. I've got some oil buckets.
Oil buckets? Fill the bath up.
I've got some oil buckets. Gonna make a lot of money now.
Of course. Do I remember correctly, oil buckets was your Margaret's nickname when she was younger?
Well, that's rather cruel. Yeah, fat buckets it was really. But...
Barry, say hello to my good friend. I don't know if you've met her before. My good friend, the talented artist. She's all the way from Oop North. It's Catherine Boyle.
Hello, Barry.
Hello, darling. I love your Frenchy accent.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, I listened to that and it made me regretful that I married Fatty Buckets. Oh, it's lovely, that French voice, isn't it?
It is very romantic.
It's erotic is what it is.
Oh, really? Is it doing the things for you?
It's doing the very thing for me, yeah. Very much so. Very much so.
You ever made love to a French lady, Barry? Have you? From what countries have you made love to the...